So I think met him some 8 or 10 years ago. I'm not very sure, but something in that time zone. Um, and this was in connection with my involvement with trying to serve Indian culture. I met this filmmaking team of Ramji and Deepika ji, and they talked to me about Rajiv ji. And Rajiv ji, we happened to be visiting Mumbai at that point of time. And then we met. And we had a wonderful meeting, and it has been a start of a relationship since then. So it was start of a wonderful relationship thereon. We have met many times. We are in touch with each other on email. He has interviewed me, formally for his channel. And I have arranged his visit to the pagoda. So on. I think one of, if I remember correctly, we shot something at the pagoda site as well. So they've been, it has been wonderfully eventful too, in a positive sense. I think it's been very seminal, it's been very bold, and he has been amongst the first one to develop an idiom, to develop a body of work, to really make an impression on the Western mind. His whole story, at age 44, he started the journey, and it's absolutely amazing that how methodically he went about it. He thought so strategically about it. And that said that, look, I have to become an academic, because it is the academics at the end of the day who are shaping the Western narrative, or at least what we can see of it. There may be other, hidden states everywhere. And how he chose, how he made the effort to become an academic, become an author, become scholar, and support research. And therefore, in that manner, he became a part of the system. And his thinking that you have to change the system from within rather than from without, and I will do anything and everything to become that. And therefore, he started getting noticed more seriously, being taken more seriously than he might have otherwise been. And not many people in his position, at his age, with his, his success in business, etc., do that. I had a similar story, but I started much later, when I was 60. But therefore, we understood each other, that what we were trying to do. So I started working with this team in the similar spirit, and so on. So we used videography and scholar references to, present our case. And he wrote books, and he created seminars and fora, and created chairs and, professorships and so on. So we've been following. He has, of course, done much, much more copious work. I mean, we are not comparable. But directionally, at the core, we have similar feelings about Indian culture. Of course, Dr. Malhotra chose, and, he required boldness. So he's been extremely bold in his statements. And that is marvelous. That sets him out. It creates controversies at times, but that's a part of the game. And I had tremendous admiration for his courage and his scholarliness. So we have had many, many arguments, because both of us speak our minds, and we are intellectually very honest. And that's have a tremendous admiration for each other. I have virtually, I put him right up there. And it's so nice to see that his work is in sync. A lot of his recent work is in sync with India's economic ascent. And therefore, one feels very good about it. But I also tell him that, and he understands it very well. I think we talk about it. I can't say I'm telling him that we have to make our positive peace, and not really think that it will immediately, make people change their opinion. It sinks in slowly like soft rain. And then, because they've never heard a counter narrative of any significance, or which is not emotional, which is backed by, research and logic. It takes time, but people do change. So I'm a Vipassana meditator just like he is. And we know that it is so different, but it is so scientific, logical, that eventually, people take to it. So there are things like that. So just as, Galileo, from Galileo's time to now, we are seeing this, that, when you state the truth, not that it will be accepted with open arms immediately. It takes time. The prosperous echelons of society, they all tend to become westernized. The children go to American or, foreign universities. Their children are sent to, elite schools, which are all English schools. And they have curricula, they have, school boards, which are, some of them are abroad, International Baccalaureate or Cambridge and whatever. And therefore, we are training them on one side to get westernized and to excel in that westernization. And therefore, they themselves look at India through a very different prism, through the Western prism. And they are confused lot. And therefore, I think his work will have a deep impression on the Indian people, particularly because he has written in English, because he lives in America, and he conducts, his presence in media and so on. That's all these are the right platforms for the younger people to, that's where they, visit. They are denizens of that world. I think that's extremely important. And books are eternal. They may not be read immediately, but once they are there, they do get referred to. They do become popular at any point of time. So he has created enormous, more than 30,000 pages of work. Oh my God. It's so hard to imagine a businessman at his age putting in that effort. And I think as people, you like something about somebody and then you delve deep. So because of the breadth of his work, from artificial intelligence to the sheer, his work on desanskritization, and there's so many esoteric themes where he has done very deep work. So therefore, you'll come across one or the other work. And once you see what this person has done, then of course you want to know more about it, just as we like one book by an author and you want to read all the books by the same person. I think that kind of effect will be there. The fact that Rajiv ji chooses his metaphor, the bold, controversial, in your face kind of thing, that is unique to a person. And it may be popular in the short term, it may not be popular in the short term. I respect that. Because if those who are obsessed with short-term success, they may not be able to see the importance of integrity. I think this kind of knowledge descends on an individual as a part of universal design. And one has to be honest about it to hope that this will have lasting impact. And therefore, many times I find that, why can't you say it in some other manner? But almost in the same breath, I said, no, please don't do it your way. So I think that's how it is. Look after his health. That's my personal last question every time we meet, that please do look after particularly his eyesight. He's so precious. So I think he every time reassures me that, he's doing his bit, etc. But, when you see the amount of work that he keeps producing, one does wonder that, we should not cross the line. Second is, I don't know how much work has happened on the translation bit. I think his work needs to, be translated a lot more widely. And, what effort can go into that. Because even some of our work, we get requests from unexpected countries. Someone wants to translate it in Portuguese, for example. Things like that happen. So while there may be sections or constituencies we want to address more directly, but there may be other constituencies which are very open to such ideas. And therefore, translating it widely will open up more people to this ancient wisdom. And I think it is very opportune and very happy that, William Dalrymple has written this now book on Indian culture. So a couple of books have come out, particularly, Dalrymple's book, which is going to create more curiosity about India's contribution. A book has come about Nalanda's contribution, but that may not be as widely because that author is not internationally known. But Dalrymple's work is very widely known. And so, with that, you need more books, more authors reinforcing the same message.